Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Euro elites hate Trump, part 498. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Well, it's that time of year again, the annual globalist confab of world leaders, billionaires, energy and tech titans, a few media types, all at the World Economic Forum, where the rich and powerful gather to remind each other of how rich and powerful they are. All the while, of course, pretending to care about saving the planet, or at least Greenland.
On Arctic sovereignty, we stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future.
I love the applause. Oh, come on. What they really care about most, at least right now, is trying to resist Donald Trump. So all the Euro pipsqueaks came out today to get their digs in, puffing up their chests as the EU itself is at a crossroads.
People want to join the European Union. Yes. Nobody wants to join China. Nobody, no neighbor of the United States says, well, we want to join the United States. Nobody wants to. They want to join the European Union just because we have respect. We have the rule of law. We do speak softly.
That's funny. The European rule of law, is that what he said? Which is increasingly punishing people for their speech, for what they post online. Even the notoriously Never Trump publication, The Atlantic, has tagged Europe for its undeniable and repeated attacks on free speech. And rightly, President Trump and VP Vance have called them out for both this and their NATO free-riding. The Davos crowd, well, most of them anyway, hate Trump because he's not one of them. He's not a citizen of the world. He's America first, and he's a populist, a pragmatist. European leaders, though, come on, they love a weak America. They love it when our country was just writing blank checks and demanding nothing in return. They love our country when our leaders go over there and prostrate themselves at the altar of globalism, even apologize for America's arrogance in past years. But that's not how Team Trump rolls.
America first is the job of our government to take care of our workers, to make sure their lives are better for it. And then don't be America alone, right? But be America first. And I would suggest that policy is something for other countries to deeply consider, to take care of their own, and then we will work out wonderful relationships between us. But I want to point out, when America shines, the world shines. Close your eyes and think of a world without America in it.
That was an excellent presentation, but one problem. On the issue of Greenland, our allies, well, they don't seem to be backing down. At least they want their moment of being so upset. Greenland sovereignty is non-negotiable, said Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, said that today. And after Trump threatened to blow up his tariff deal with Europe, which sent stocks reeling today, the president said he had a very good call with the NATO chief, Mark Rutte. Secretary Besson, for his part, told everyone, sit back, take a breath.
I would say exactly what I said after Liberation Day last April, when the president imposed tariff levels on the whole world. I tell everyone, sit back, take a deep breath, do not retaliate. The president will be here tomorrow, and he will get his message across. I believe he is going to have meetings and again, also have an open mind.
You know, Trump's going to wow Davos. That's my prediction. I mean, he's going to go there and everyone's going to want to talk to him. So all of this is a bunch of posturing. But if Europe really thinks that it can save itself by joining with that nincompoop Carney of Canada, I have to ask, are they really our allies in the first place? And if they're such great allies, why couldn't they save Ukraine without us? Or at least trying to. Now, Donald Trump obviously believes it's a strategic necessity for the United States to take Greenland. And if Europe's response to that, after everything we've done to protect Europe for 70, 80 years, that they prefer to stake their entire future on working with a communist dictatorship over working with the United States because of Greenland, then they truly are suicidal, and we really can't help them. And we should just try to cut deals with the few sane countries that are left in Europe at this point. Of course, a man pretending to be president of the EU was over there today strutting his stuff. And his complaint is that Europe is not doing enough to fight Trump.
I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I hope people understand how pathetic they look on the world stage. I mean, at least from an American perspective, it's embarrassing. So this is diplomacy with Donald Trump. He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you.
You mate with him or he devours you. It's actually a pretty good line. But it's embarrassing. He's not trying to play president. He's trying to play president of the EU, okay? United States, never going to happen. But of course, that's music to the ears of George Soros's pride and joy. Son Alex tweeted, "Great catching up with the real star of the 2026 World Economic Forum, my friend Gavin Newsom. So glad he's here calling out world leaders for believing appeasement works when it comes to Trump. It doesn't." All I can say is the two of them will appease China on every issue, never call out China, but they'll call out Trump. And if that duo is against Trump, oh my goodness, you know Trump is doing the right thing. So in the end, I bet Europe comes to its senses. America will come to some Greenland settlement. NATO at the end may even be stronger for it. China and Russia will be sweating as they see America being a bit more muscular on the world stage. And they'll be wishing, of course, that Kamala were on the other side of the table this week. Thank goodness she's not. And that's the angle.
Davos is officially underway. The escorts have landed, bugs are being served, and Ursula's putting on eyeliner. Just a week ago, party in the Swiss Alps for the folks who run the world. Everybody thought they did, or used to. Trudeau showed up with his new boo, Katy Perry, and somewhere there will be fireworks. But there won't be any fireworks there because someone invited Al Gore.
We are now trapping as much heat with this pollution every day as would be released by 750,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every 24 hours.
Something tells me Gore didn't bike to Davos. I bet Al's already started drinking because Daddy's about to land, and Daddy has needs.
I'm going to a beautiful place in Switzerland where we'll be, I'm sure I'm very happily awaited for.
Tonight, POTUS touches down in Switzerland, and to put it mildly, the Europeans have not been on their best behavior. Trump's already sent Norway an angry letter. Quote, "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America." What's good and proper for the United States of America is adopting the world's biggest island, Greenland.
We have to have it. They have to have this done. They can't protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there. And, you know, because the boat went there 500 years ago and then left, that doesn't give you title to property.
TDS is spreading overseas faster than COVID-19. The Danish parliament sounds like a Minneapolis Democrat.
Let me put this in words you might understand. Mr. President, off.
Finland hates to watch mom and dad fight, so they told us to chill out. Only known for their vodka and saunas, and since Trump doesn't drink, the Finns offered up a sauna sesh.
Sometimes it's good to slow down, go to the sauna, take an ice bath, and then find a solution,
If you could convince President Trump to go to the sauna, I think we'll have achieved something.
From golf diplomacy to sauna diplomacy.
Why not?
Isn't it hilarious listening to Europeans lecture us about a land grab when Europe colonized the entire world? Now they change the rules after they lost their power and empire? What Europe doesn't understand is that Greenland is an island in North America. You hear that? North America. And we have dominion over the entire Western Hemisphere. Europeans can't just have colonies right off the coast of Maine. We let the British have Bermuda because it's cute. But if we needed Bermuda, we'd take it. And the British would let it happen. Why is Denmark being so selfish? We bought the Virgin Islands from Denmark 100 years ago. We didn't want Germany to get a foothold in our hemisphere. At first, Denmark said no. And then we said, all right, well, we're going to just take it anyway, so you might as well just sell it. And they did. Why are the Europeans siding with Denmark over the United States? They made a very big mistake when they sent 34 soldiers to defend Greenland from us. 34. Trump was not happy.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
We've had our eye on Greenland for the last 200 years. After Andrew Johnson bought Alaska, he was drooling over the island. Truman tried to buy Greenland for $100 million. He made the offer in gold. Do you have any idea how much gold would be worth today? And let's not forget who protected Greenland when Denmark couldn't during World War II when they were conquered by Germany. We did. And we gave it back after the war. We made the Europeans give back all their colonies, but we let the Danes keep Greenland. We're too nice. What the Europeans don't understand is we're negotiating for its return, whether they like it or not.
Can I bring you back to Greenland?
No. It's unnecessary. It's the Western Hemisphere is vital for the United States of America. Our national security people are on it, and they care about it, and I'm going to leave it to them.
America will always secure its interests militarily and economically. We've purchased land from France and Russia. We've seized it from Spain and the Brits. When the world changes, we change. Globalism's dead. COVID killed it. We need shipping lanes, supply chains, and minerals to win the AI race, and the Golden Dome to protect us from enemy missiles. And we're not going to wait for the Chinese to poach the biggest island in the world right on our doorstep.
I think the president is worried that if there were an incursion into Greenland, the U.S. would be called upon to defend Greenland. Greenland's becoming more and more attractive for foreign conquest, and he very strongly believes that it must be part of the United States to prevent a conflict rather than getting the U.S. engaged in ex post into a hot conflict.
America is not going to invade Greenland. There's only 57,000 people there. It's not even necessary. It's just a bunch of native villagers on the coastline. Greenland's a sitting duck, and the Europeans aren't doing anything about it because they can't. Denmark doesn't have the money to develop it or defend it, and they won't even build roads to connect the towns. Denmark, in fact, is in violation of their NATO treaty obligations. All members must be able to defend their territory, and a few dog sleds won't cut it. And Denmark lied to us. They told Trump in 2019 they'd spend $200 million beefing up their defenses on the island, but they only spent $2 million. They just bought some binoculars. An enormous undefended island in North America, rich with military minerals, is a gaping hole in NATO. So why aren't the Europeans playing ball? Help us, help you? Denmark falls under the American security umbrella. Why wouldn't they want to make that umbrella bigger and stronger, like a golf umbrella? Canada, of all places, has gotten a free ride for decades. Guess whose side they're on?
On Arctic sovereignty, we stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future. The middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu.
Sounds like Canada's siding with China and Russia and Denmark against the United States. Looks like Greenland from the North Pole, pretty close to Russia. Russia's right in our backyard. Greenland stands right in between. If Russia fires missiles from air, sea, or land, we need Greenland to knock those missiles down early. What do you think happens if America gets peppered with missiles? The Europeans have to say bye-bye to daddy. That means they'll be speaking Russian and probably Chinese. We can't rely on a small European kingdom to protect the great United States of America. Could you imagine if the Chinese put military bases in Greenland? Do you think the Cuban Missile Crisis got a little hairy? Just wait. It would be completely unacceptable. Gavin Newsom, who already got wined and dined by the Chinese, is in Davos to get wined and dined by the Europeans. But Gavin managed to do the impossible, put America last and humiliate his host.
I can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I mean, handing out crowns and I mean, this is pathetic. This guy's playing folks for fools, and it's embarrassing.
Europeans think this is diplomacy, and this will ultimately
this is
work.
Diplomacy with Donald Trump? He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you.
Did Gavin just say the Europeans are on their knees? Gavin's some diplomat. He doesn't want to defend America and calls Macron a ladyboy. And while he's accusing others of being on their knee pads, here he is in Davos with his sugar daddy money donor, Soros the Younger. Newsom thinks Trump's the threat to America. Well, the Chinese, Russians, whatever. Macron just invited the Chinese to devour their whole economy.
China is welcome, but what we need is more Chinese foreign direct investment in Europe.
Why is Macron wearing shades? He says he has an eye infection. His wife didn't hit him this time. China's raining EVs on the Europeans, and Russia's knocking on their door in Ukraine. Macron should be running into our arms. France only has one aircraft carrier, and it's barely operational. Trump invited France to join his Gaza peace board, and Macron said no. And then texted 47 saying this: "My friend, I do not understand what you are doing in Greenland. Let us try to build great things. I can set up a G7 meeting after Davos in Paris on Thursday afternoon. Let us have a dinner together in Paris, together on Thursday before you go back to the U.S. Emmanuel, Bordeaux and Champagne just got a lot more expensive.
Any response to President Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace?
Oh, did he say that? Well, nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is if they feel like Costo, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join.
How did Macron respond to a run-of-the-mill tariff threat? He claims he's being bullied.
We do prefer respect to bullies. We do prefer science to plotism. And we do prefer rule of law to brutality. You're welcome in Europe, and you are more than welcome to France.
You know who bullied Europe? Napoleon. He brutalized the continent. Then the French conquered Algeria and Syria and Vietnam and built statues for those conquerors. The French and British tried to seize the Suez Canal. Eisenhower had to come in and say, guys, your game's up. We're in charge now. Back off. We've bailed the Europeans out of 2 world wars, rebuilt them with the Marshall Plan, and what did Europe do? Stopped having babies and let themselves be invaded by migrants. Now, we love the Europeans. America sprung from the bedrock of Western civilization, Europe. Those are our countrymen. But they're living in the past if they think they can dictate American foreign policy.
So you do not believe that the EU or the UK have any retaliatory financial instruments or measures in their bag that the United States should be worried about?
No.
It's gotten so bad that even liberal Wall Street executives are going to Davos and saying, guys, get real.
The world now places far less trust in us to help shape what comes next. If the World Economic Forum is going to be useful going forward, it has to regain that trust.
Davos told us to eat bugs, buy electric cars, and take 6 boosters. No. Authority in 2026 rests on power and realism, a.k.a. common sense. The United States is arranging a new world order based on America first. These are historic times. Politico writes this: Trump is on track to change the character of American government and this country's relationship with the world more profoundly than any predecessor in decades. So if you're being a panicking, don't. We're not going to war with NATO. We're still allies. Just like the trade war, it's the art of the deal.
Everyone take a deep breath. Do not escalate. Do not escalate. And President Trump has a strategy here. Hear him out, and then everything will be fine.
So breathe with me and hit the sauna. We begin tonight with a moment that will forever be enshrined in American history. Take a look.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Hard to believe, but that was only 1 year ago today. So much has happened, so much progress has been made, and the president, he's only getting started. In the days to come, the president will be meeting with some of the weakest leaders on the face of this earth who are now absolutely fraught with this phony, feigned, righteous indignation over President Trump's plan to partner with Greenland, which, by the way, would be the single best thing for Western Europe's long-term national security. How ironic. Already, multiple European countries are facing possible new tariffs after deploying a tiny, really tiny, pathetic, embarrassing so-called show of force in Greenland. And now President Trump is trolling Europe ahead of his trip. He's headed to Davos for the big party going on there with memes about annexing Greenland, flattering texts from the French President Macron, along with the Secretary General of NATO, who wrote that he was, quote, committed to finding a way forward on Greenland.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. She's only here because her spin class was canceled. Elections correspondent at the Federalist, Brianna Lyman. He once worked at CNN and has Brian Stelter's bite marks to prove it. Former Trump advisor Steve Cortez. She talks so fast, her tonsils are sponsored by Valvoline. Co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Campano. No, he's not happy to see you. That's just an old lady in his pocket. No, former NWA World Champion, host of Leonard Tyler's podcast. Isn't it hilarious, Brianna, how when they're asked a very simple question, they act like non-binary deer in the headlights? What is it that scares them so much?
Yeah, and it's not that they can't answer it. That's a very yes/no. They don't want to answer it. And to your point, their base would say yes, men can become women. But the voters that decide elections in swing states are going to say no. And so Democrats don't want to get behind this absurd delusion and say, yeah, men can become women, because that's going to always follow them. So they try to toe this line where they say nothing. And they do it because this is a very toxic political question. When Donald Trump ran in 2024, one of the most influential things he did was run that Kamala is for they, them, I'm for you. Yeah. And that ad about Kamala wants to trans illegal aliens stuck in prisons. That was really impactful. So Democrats are trying to say, what can I do to avoid answering, but also avoid being wrecked in 2028 by Republicans in these ads?
And it was impactful because it was an honest ad. It was an honest ad. And Steve, what is amazing is the Dems don't want this toxic question. They don't want this conflict. But it's their fault. We didn't want it either. Right. We're not interested in this. We're not interested in arguing about the flat Earth either. Right. But you guys are claiming the Earth is flat, or in this case, a boy can become a woman.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. They insisted on making somebody like Dylan Mulvaney into some sort of hero, right? They brought this on themselves, and the Dems can't quit crazy. That's just the reality. And thank goodness, by the way, because let me tell you, though, I do a lot of polling, all right? And voters are very unhappy with the economy right now. They're very unhappy with Republicans, who they largely blame for the economy. Okay, that's the bad news. The good news is they hate Dems more. Yeah. And they hate Dems mainly because of exactly this kind of cultural radical extremism that they just can't quit.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I bet if you polled trans, and don't make a joke,
I would bet they would be more MAGA than non-MAGA because they just want government out of their lives. Wouldn't you think that way? It's a guy like trans probably can't stand the woke.
Yeah, a true actual trans person that would want to be unencumbered.
You mean Steve Busey?
By regulations and, yes, a bloated government totally would be for the party of actual freedom. But I think that the problem is it's been hijacked and exploited by everyone in women face. Like, they're not actual trans, it's just women face. Or it's people that burst into places of worship. It's people that love to vilify Trump and anything he stands for. It's everyone that those guys, the 20 elected officials, are terrified of. What I hate about this is that they created that Frankenstein. And you said they were cowards. Absolutely. And instead of being afraid of the influencers, they're deigning to become the influencers themselves. Those 20 had the opportunity with that questionnaire, which, by the way, was Axios. It's not like we gave it to them. To say, yeah, here's where I draw the line. And you know what? If you follow me, you're going to go to my website, you're going to donate. Where is anyone, has everyone had their balls chopped off? Not only Dylan Mulvaney, but also the elected officials? That they can't rise up and say, you know what, enough. Enough of the mob that came after me, that came after everything. And so next it's going to be whatever they said. And actually, Rahm Emanuel said it in the questionnaire when he was like, yeah, you know what, they shouldn't have played. He's like, but now watch out, the mob's going to come after me.
Yeah, I mean, actually, he might be gambling, Tyrus, that if they come after him, that'll make him popular among the general sane public, and it'll make all these other idiots look out of step.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree with everybody on this panel.
That's not very respectful.
Unapologetically, respectfully, having said that, you guys are out of your mind. We need to stop this. They all have the same answer because they're answering in order of where the checks are coming from. They're all bought and paid for. This isn't a condition or a riddle we can solve. This is all. They all, when they're asked the question, what's a woman? Because the people who finance them and allow them to push their agendas will pull their checks. So that's why. You want to find a Democrat who's not being funded by these type of individuals? They'll answer you. They're like, yeah, a woman's a woman. I'm married to one. I'll be happy to break it down for you.
Yeah.
You can't do it because that's the agenda. That's the narrative. And what motivates a politician? Money, donations. So the reason why you want to know when the Democratic Party is going to change, when someone has the balls to say all money isn't good money. But it always builds them up. You see these politicians who are mildly, you're like, wait, they don't talk good. They say dumb all the time. They never pass laws, but they go from, I don't know, 32,000 a year saved in the House to 30 million.
Yeah.
And they say that doesn't make sense to us, but I'm telling you right now, I don't know. If someone slipped a check for me for $10 million, I might come out here and be like, I have no clue what a woman is. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah. No one ever bribes me. What's wrong with that?
Because you'll tell.
Yes, that's true. I'll brag about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loose lips, they say. You know what they say? You can ask any Tran.
That's just one of Greg's classic sayings. It's like whenever he always tells us at the end of each show, you make out with 100 guys at a bar.
What? Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.